If there is one trick that could claim to be the personification of contact poi, this one is definitely it. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, today drilling down how to perform outer arm rolls in contact poi. Buckle in. Before we dive in, I just want to give a shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. We started exploring the basic arm rolls in my last video, which I'll link to up in the cards, but the Cliff's Notes essentially go like this. I think of contact poi rolls as coming in two flavors, those that roll from the palm of the hand to the elbow pit, and those that roll from the back of the hand to the elbow. We covered the former in my previous video. In today's video, we're going to dive into the latter. So straight up, this move is going to require us to train our arms on a lot of new habits. In addition to training our forearms to stay level during the roll, we also need to learn how to effectively hold the poi on the back of our hand in a position that's going to feel very unfamiliar. But don't worry, I'm going to give you some drills to help. I want you to extend all of your fingers straight out away from the palm and rest your poi head in the crevice between your index and middle fingers. Taken from the contact juggling world, we call this position a cradle. Now I want you to walk around like this. Get yourself familiar with the sensation of holding the poi head in a cradle. More than likely, if the poi head feels like it's rolling around too much, you're going to want to catch it before it can fall. The default way your body and brain will try to do this is to close your hand, and unfortunately, when the poi head is resting on the back of it, that guarantees it'll fall off. Instead, you want to train yourself to stretch your fingers out whenever the head feels unstable. Your job is to create a bowl on the back of your hand for the head to fall into. It is most stable when it's at rest and there's nowhere for it to roll. Work to create those conditions by default without having to think about it. Next, we should talk about the skills you're going to need to initiate the roll. The roll is initiated when the tether gains enough momentum to spin over the hand and carry the head along with it. But the trick is now that we don't really have a lot of direct control over making the tether spin. Our solution is to learn how to build up the momentum indirectly. With the poi head balanced in cradle, begin swinging the tether back and forth under your forearm in a pendulum. Your job is to try and get the tether up to tap the end of your humerus in your elbow joint. That point of contact with the bone crest, right here, is essential to find, not just because that's the point at which the tether has enough momentum to initiate a roll, but also because it'll ensure that the tether is lined up properly to roll off your elbow in just the right spot. Cool, so now let's see about putting these pieces together to make this trick happen. With your poi head resting in cradle, swing the tether back and forth until it touches the end of your humerus. Let the tether swing back down, and when it's pointed straight down, you'll flick your fingers upward. Now, this part is very important. Flick your fingers, but do not raise your wrist or forearm as you do so. This will add a small jolt of momentum to the tether, like a person using their legs to build up momentum on a swing. The tether should spin over the hand and roll the poi head back to the elbow. Figuring out the timing on this can take a little bit of practice, but you'll know you're getting warm when you see the tether pick up momentum rather than lose it. Leave your hand open and catch the poi tether and handle as they swing back around. This should happen right as the poi head reaches your elbow so that you're holding the handle as the head drops off. So all together, with your poi head sitting in cradle, swing the tether until it taps your elbow and give the head a little flick with your fingers. The head will roll down your forearm and you'll catch the tether right as the head falls off the end of your elbow. And again, when you do this at full speed, it all happens in less than a second, so that's a lot to react to in a very short time. But wait, Drex, this trick really isn't coming together this way. What's going wrong? Well, here are a few possible spots where something can go wrong and how to fix them. If you're finding the head rolls off your forearm before it gets to your elbow, one of two things is wrong. One possibility is that the tether isn't lined up properly. If you miss tapping that bone, it's likely the head will roll off in a different direction entirely. Really work on making sure you don't initiate the roll until you feel that bone get tapped by the poi handle. The other is that you might be raising your hand and/or forearm as you initiate the roll. This will add additional momentum in sometimes unpredictable directions. Again, work to keep your forearm parallel to the ground and give the poi head a flat surface to roll across. This will guarantee the best chance of success. We should also probably talk a bit about how you get into this trick too. The most popular way to do this is out of a throw. You can lightly toss the head straight up to catch the poi in cradle. This is the way that I first learned how to enter this trick, and it requires that you then begin swinging the poi tether to initiate the roll. I kind of like teaching people this method first because it also helps you train your proficiency in creating a cradle for the poi to land in. The idea is to give the poi a soft landing. It should arrive in a place where the tether is dangling below the head, and you can start moving that tether any which way you like. Another great option is to do an isolated throw, flicking the tether up and away from you so that when you catch the head, the handle's already moving in the right direction to catch your elbow, and you can flick the head to initiate the roll. This option is my current favorite. Aside from throws, another way I've seen to start this trick is actually to engage the other arm. Place one arm straight out in front of you and use your other hand to swing your poi down and around to wrap just around the outside of your upper arm. You want it to land so the poi head is sitting just on top of your arm, but far enough over that it would fall on its own if you just release the tether. Pick up the tether and rapidly flick it and let go of the handle. You'll have a split second to touch your fingertips to your opposite arm right at the spot where your poi head is resting. The tether will start rolling the poi head as it comes around, and it should transfer over to your forearm and roll down to your elbow just like it would if we'd started in the cradle. Now, this version isn't done nearly as frequently, but if you're having trouble learning your cradle, this is a great way to still be able to work on your roll. And just like with the inner arm roll, there's a very cool way that we can get the poi to roll back and forth with an outer forearm roll by tweaking this entry just slightly. Start like we did with the last setup, one arm out in front of you and the other spinning your poi. This time, make sure the arm stretched out in front of you is bent at the elbow and your forearm is parallel to the ground. Spin the poi around under your outstretched forearm and catch the head at that flat spot right next to your elbow pit. Flick the tether down and around, and this time, let the poi roll down that outstretched forearm to your hand. Catch the poi head in a cradle here, and let the tether spin over your hand to tap your arm bone under the elbow and initiate the roll back. Flick your hand up to start the roll and let it complete, just like any other outer forearm roll. Now, you may have noticed that contact poi requires a lot of attention, not just on the heads, but also on the handles, and that's one of the reasons that I'm a big fan of these orb poi from Ultrapoi, the sponsor for this month's videos. You can get them with the company's Ultra Knob LED handles so that when you're performing contact tricks, it's not just a head hovering over your arm the whole time. This equals a much better presentation for your audience. To snag a set of these for yourself, head on over to ultrapoi.com and use the discount code DREXFACTOR with a 0 instead of an O. It helps out the channel, and it gives you a discount on a set of these poi. What's your favorite entry into the outer arm roll? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know what other tricks you'd like to see me cover in the future. If you dug this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to guarantee that you'll get to see my latest videos when they get published. And finally, a shout out to my awesome supporters on Patreon. They are the reason that this video and all the videos on my channel exist. If you'd like to sign up to support the work that I do, please head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You'll get access to all my videos before the rest of the world, plus great exclusive content, and a vote in what topics I tackle in the future. Thank you so much in advance.